Lenovo X1 Titanium Yoga. A wonderful concept of a laptop 2-in-1 that is supposed to be a perfect replacement for a tablet. Let's try it out. Hello, I'm Dr. Sam, this is Dr. Sam's Health, and I continue my series of videos on different devices, unboxing them and my first impressions from them. You know that I have been on a mission of finding a perfect laptop, perfect 2-in-1, and I've made quite a few videos. A couple of them were on HP Spectre products. I had a couple of videos on HP Spectre 15 that I had for a couple of years, and I was not perfectly satisfied with it. Then I had purchased an HP Elite Dragonfly, which was an amazing laptop, but in the end of that video I said that I think that it still doesn't meet my needs, and most likely the best laptop for me would be HP Spectre 14, which had a perfect aspect ratio, 3:2, excellent, at least on paper, the battery life, and ironically almost at half-life because I'm a doctor. But that device seemed to be just a perfect machine for myself because of the battery life, because of the dimensions, the functionality, and I'm well familiar with the brand. And I almost made a promise to make a video on HP Spectre 360 14-inch model, but it turned out that it's not possible to buy it in Canada. I would have to go to the United States and buy it there, and that was a little bit too much of a hassle. I actually called the company and asked them for a copy, at least for a review, but they said that apparently I'm not that important, which is fine. I waited for this device to appear on the market. It never appeared on Canadian market, so I was on the verge of buying myself a new MacBook, a MacBook Pro or MacBook Air, for several reasons. First of all, they have these M1 chips that are amazing, or at least a lot of people are talking about them and saying that they are so much more productive than Intel processors or AMD processors, and they allow for higher performance with less energy being spent, and they allow for very long extended periods of battery life. So when I say I was on the verge of buying, it means I actually bought one, MacBook Pro 13-inch, and I've been waiting for it for a month, and it never arrived. I called Apple and they told me that they have lost it. So they have just refunded me, and that was the end of my story with MacBook. I might try out new MacBook Pros that are going to be released in the nearest future. Apparently there is a lineup of laptops that are going to be released with M1X chips, and these are supposed to be really amazing, and there are rumors that Apple is going to do an overhaul of their MacBook Pros lineup. Significant one, there will be MacBook Pro 14 version, and likely that will be something that I would really appreciate, and I'll be able to try things like Final Cut Pro, or pretty much use the functionality of Apple OS and Apple software to work with my videos. Anyhow, the bottom line is that I was not able to get either of these laptops. I was not able to get HP Spectre 360 14, so I gave up on this idea, and I was not able to get myself the newest MacBook Air Pro. The silver lining, though, is that while I was trying to get those, Lenovo started making new laptops. They have ThinkPad X1 Titanium Yoga 2-in-1 laptops. So I'm gonna unbox it today, and I hope that I will like it because, at least on paper, it meets most of my expectations. It has the right aspect ratio, it has a very nice resolution of the screen. It's supposed to be designed in such a way that is the thinnest 2-in-1 ever, and because of that they are just trying to make it look and feel like a tablet when it's in a tablet mode. So here I've got the box. Let's open it up. While opening it, I will say one thing about the box itself. It is actually very funny, and I know I shouldn't be difficult about that, but the box looks quite cheap, and this is not a cheap laptop at all. In Canada, the original starting price of this device is over 5,000 Canadian dollars. I've got it on a huge sale, and I've got a feeling that they always have this sale, but I spent around 3,500 Canadian dollars taxes included on this particular device. So I know that nobody really cares about boxes, but for a device that is like uber premium one, I would expect it to look much better. But who knows, maybe it's just the outer wrapping of this machine. Actually, I was wrong. This device indeed comes in an outer wrapping that is kind of low-key, just a cardboard, but inside is this wonderful box. It looks very nice, and it's kind of matching the premium status of the device. Let me take a look inside the box, and then we'll unpack this nicely wrapped laptop. So inside the box, the outer box is the smaller box with the peripherals. So we've got the power charger, we've got the pen, the stylus, and a cord. Okay, let me open this nicely packaged laptop. Got some plastic wrapping, which we clearly don't need. And here is the box. For some reason it reminds me The Witcher 2, the collector's edition. And let me open it. It's so tightly sealed. Okay, so here we've got the machine with the titanium cover. The irony is, yeah, I wonder if there is anything else. Yeah, so there is like a secret hidden pocket with some warranties, some papers. Doesn't matter much. I actually like the design of this. It actually, you can see the colors. These are the typical colors of Lenovo ThinkPads, black with like red elements. And of course we've got the device itself. Nicely wrapped. Believe it or not, I never know what to say while unwrapping things. And I always feel like it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to say something. And I always say something silly or something that I regret saying. Anyhow, here is the laptop. It is in my hands. You can take a good look. It actually feels really good. And it has very nice surface. It's not slippery at all. And in general, the weight of this device, at least the way I perceive it, is matching the weight of, say, iPad Pro, the largest one, 12.9 inches one. So this device is actually pretty cool. Since I'm such a nerd, let's do the following. I'm gonna do a couple of things. First of all, I'll tell you the exact characteristics of this device, the one that I bought, and I'll compare it to the device that I actually have. So just to make things more complicated, nothing in my life is easy or simple. As soon as I ordered this laptop, this wonderful titanium edition one, I received an email from one of my buyers at work that they have gotten me a new laptop. And to make very long story relatively short, I have been looking for a new laptop at work because I ended up in a situation when I had to come to work with two laptops. One is a work one is my personal one, HP Spectre, which I didn't like. Carrying two devices was a little bit difficult, so I asked my workplace to buy me a new, really advanced laptop because I do clinical work and I do research and I had certain specs that had to be met. So they told me that, yeah, here is a certain limit in terms of the money we're going to spend on your personal, not personal, like real work/personal laptop, but it has to be Dell. So I picked Dell XPS 13 2-in-1. I mapped out all the characteristics, sent them the link to this device on Dell's website, and like a month and a half later, they actually got me the laptop, which occurred literally 2 days after me ordering this laptop. And believe it or not, it has nothing to do with Dell. It is this laptop, which is Lenovo ThinkPad. I think it's Carbon. And Now I'm in a bit of a conundrum what I'm supposed to do with these two laptops. I've got this one, which is my personal laptop, and I've got this Lenovo Yoga Carbon. And I'm really sorry if I'm kind of misnaming this device. It doesn't really matter. I actually do like this device, but it has 10th generation Intel processor, whereas this titanium one is supposed to have 11th generation. And it has a funny aspect ratio, which is 16:9, which is not bad, but for a work laptop I would expect something with the aspect ratio of 3:2, which is this one, ThinkPad Titanium Edition. So let me tell you the characteristics of this laptop, and we'll compare them to the Lenovo Yoga Carbon that I have. So they both are 2-in-1 laptops, convertibles, that's why they're called X1. And I think that X symbolizes the different configurations of these laptops. The specs of this one are 11th gen Intel Core i7 1180 G7 processor with vPro, whatever it is. 4 cores, 8 threads, 12 megabytes cache, Windows 10 Pro pre-installed. The screen resolution is actually pretty cool. It's 13.5 inches QHD monitor or screen that has a resolution that is somewhere between Full HD, 1080p, and 4K, which is supposed to be really cool because, you know, when you're working with 4K, actually this one is 4K, and it's ridiculous because half of my clinical software doesn't really work well on this one. Everything's just super small or misrendered or misrepresented on the screen. And 1080p is kind of a joke these days because it's a little bit too large or too grainy for modern laptop. This one is in the middle. The resolution is 2256 by 1504. It is an IPS panel, anti-reflective, anti-smudge touch screen with 450 nits. It has 16 gigabytes of memory soldered in, like somebody, well, I'm not the kind of person who is going to get into my laptop and trying to add more memory, so it's not a big deal, though 32 gigs would be better. 1 terabyte SSD, which is nice, but actually I use OneDrive, Microsoft OneDrive, and I'm a big fan of this, and I really appreciate the functionality of it, but the problem is that mine is already approaching 1 terabyte, so I would love to have something larger, like 2 terabytes. Okay, the next thing is the video card. Since this one has 11th gen processor, it comes with integrated Intel Iris Xe graphics card, which is supposed to be quite powerful and it has a lot of performance in it. Camera. This one has a 720p HD camera integrated. I assume that will be pretty poor quality camera. I actually don't know why in 2021 they're still making these HD cameras. They're terrible. I have made some videos on my HP Spectre 360 15 when I was assembling my home gym, and I think I made a small comment about that. It just was terrible. The footage was very grainy and it was nothing in comparison to my iPhone. I had several teleconferences using this laptop, the ThinkPad, the regular one. It was terrible too. I actually was tempted to compliment my patient on having a great camera versus mine. My video feed was like levels upon levels below my patient's. Nevertheless, that's what I have. This one likely has exactly the same camera, but we'll definitely test it. It also comes with Lenovo Precision Pen. Here it is. I'm not sure if you can see much. I'll show it closer. It is much bigger than the one that is built into the regular ThinkPad. It's much smaller, as you can see. I will likely compare them, but I don't think it's that important, to be honest. But the thing is that they tried to make this laptop so small and so thin that they were not able to fit a Precision Pen inside of it. On the other note, I must say that this one, the one that comes with regular Yoga, is too small. I don't know, maybe I have large hands, but it's too small to be used comfortably. This one feels like a regular pen and feels much better. And obviously it has fingerprint reader, obviously it has Windows Hello because it's a Windows laptop, and the keyboard is backlit English. And it has Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth, and things like that. So that was the list of the technical specs. I kind of compared it to what I have right now, and I'm actually working up my way to talking about whether I'm going to keep this one or not. And the reason why I'm going to talk about this is because I already like it, but it doesn't make much sense for me to keep two laptops, especially given that they're from the same company and just like one generation away from each other, and one is free, but it's objectively worse even on paper, and another one is $3,500, but it's actually very light. I already like it. So let's open it and let's try it out. And I almost forgot to do this, but before I open it, I would like to talk about this device's weight. So as you know, I am an uber nerd and I tend to weigh pretty much everything in my life. I've got this kitchen scale that I use to check everything, including one of my previous laptops, which was HP Elite Dragonfly. And maybe you remember that I said that this device was meant to be less than 1 kilo, but it turned out to be 1 kilo and 111 grams, which is like 10% higher, but the difference was substantial in my understanding, because when you're comparing something of that size and that price, and this whole idea of that device to be super light and below 1 kilo, and again it's 10% heavier, it actually makes this device too similar in terms of its weight to its competitors. Let's take a look at this one. It actually feels much lighter, and as I mentioned, it's actually very thin. It does feel like a regular iPad. Obviously it's thicker, but the feeling is very nice. It's very slim. So let's check it out. It's 1 kilogram, 135 grams. Actually, it's 15 grams lighter than promised, and it is almost exactly as heavy or as light as HP Elite Dragonfly. So I can put my scale away, and we can definitely talk about this device in more details. We can open it and try it out. So if you're ready, let's do this. It's my first time opening this device. It's very thin, very nice. I actually, I'm looking at the screen, which is almost like, it's not a square, but it's squarer than the classical rectangular ones. It is a little bit unusual to work with a device like that, but it's still funny, and I think it's fun. One thing I can tell that, it's anti-reflective, the screen, but you can see how much reflections we've got here. We'll see how it works in a brighter light, and we'll see how it looks like when the screen is turned on. But meanwhile, it's not as promising as I would expect, just because I've been working on regular Lenovo, and I don't think it was as reflective as this one. But again, we will see. I have to turn it on, and likely it will take it a while to set up everything. I will just take a closer look at the keypad or keyboard. Sorry, I want you to take a look at it. Here we go. It's a very nice device. I also noticed something here. There is like a little slide that closes the camera, and it is a very nice thing for privacy, because I have this laptop from work and I never know what they have access to. And the irony is that actually I can use it for teleconferencing, but they prohibited access to camera for face recognition. It's just one of the drawbacks of having a work-related PC. Anyhow, the device looks and feels very nice. It's actually quite light, and I do enjoy it already. Give me a couple of hours, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to charge it, set it up, and I'll make the second half of this video talking about the functionality and how I feel with using different things, different functions of it. Okay, taking a break. I actually decided to film the moment of the first start. Just pressed the start button and we'll see how it works. Interesting. I don't think it's meant to make this sound, but let us see what is happening. And I must say that this laptop was in a bag for a week or two because I didn't have enough time to open it. Nevertheless, it's starting, and hopefully there will be an aha moment, or like Aladdin's tale when they open in the cave and there is something cool coming out. You can hear this funny noise that it makes. Sounds like there are some fans working. It's not very promising, to be honest, because if it is going to make this sound on a regular basis, that will be a disaster. I hope you can hear it. So at least I see it working. I can clearly see my reflection in this dark black panel right now. So, you know, when Lenovo laptops start, they have this Lenovo thing. It's a red rectangle on a black background, and it was quite reflective. Again, right now it's a blue screen of Windows starting. It will take me a while to set everything up. I'll take my time and I will circle back to you when I've got everything set up and we can work with this. But you can actually hear the sound of the fans. It's not good at all. One funny remark, it's been several minutes I'm trying to set up the machine, and of course one of the parts of the setup process is setting up the facial recognition. It's been several minutes. This device is trying to recognize my face with no success, and it keeps making this noise throughout the process. The fan noise is there. Maybe because it's charging. We'll see how it goes. I'll keep you posted. Okay, now we've got Windows installed as well as the Microsoft Office, so I can try out some basic functionality. I'm not going to get into like high performance tasks. I'm not going to install my video editing software. I'm not going to run any benchmarks because there are professional YouTubers who do this kind of stuff for a living. They will handle it much better. What I'm going to focus is my user experiences. First of all, you can hear that. I will actually cancel the noise. I use some sort of a noise reduction software in my videos because of the microphone issues, but I think I will keep one short video snippet of this device just working when I'm silent. I hope you can hear it. I'll move it actually closer so you can hear exactly how it sounds. It's a pretty nasty, loud noise. It has been charging, so I assume that it's been warming up, and it's been installing Windows, all the software, but I'm pretty sure that it was just simply activating it, and having this kind of sound is not a good thing at all. Anyhow, we've got Microsoft Office. Let me try typing something. I do like the keyboard. It has a very nice feel. I can try the touchpad. Touchpad is actually very small, and I'll show you what I think they could have done. So you can see that the touchpad is very small, right? They could have moved the keyboard slightly up to increase the touchpad, but I don't know. It's not critical for me. I know that some people are really crazy about touchpads. It's not my case. Also, it has these buttons, like mouse buttons, the left, the right one, the middle one. I don't know why they're doing this because I don't think anybody actually uses them anymore. They have also a fingerprint reader. Again, the device is quite light. You know, when I'm holding it like this, it gets wobbly. I'm not sure it's meant to be like this, but it's totally fine. Let's also try flipping it, just to see how easy it is to do. And like with many Windows laptops, 2-in-1s, what happens is some odd stuff pops up. and I hate it, like the keyboard in this case, and there was some other stuff popping up because my thumb was in some area. But anyhow, it feels quite nice, except for the sound. Again, it feels like a huge ebook reader. Okay, let's talk about the PDF document reading functionality. First of all, you can see that the screen is quite reflective, despite it being anti-reflective. It reflects a lot of light, and I think it might be a problem, apart from the sound. And you know, I will likely mention it several times, but it is actually annoying. And I don't think I'll be willing or able to work with a laptop that makes so much noise. And I am pretty sure that this noise is actually coming out of these areas. So when you use it in a tablet mode, it's pretty much doomed to make a lot of noise, just because when you close it in a tablet mode, it blocks these openings. Anyhow, the screen resolution and the aspect ratio are just amazing. This is a good part. So I got this article of mine, my own article, a PDF of it, and I would say it's perfectly sized and perfectly detailed. Having an article on a screen with the aspect ratio of 3:2 is just a pleasure, and that is something I'm very happy with. Not the last thing likely, but we've got this little pen here, so let's try running something like, I don't know, Paint. Let's write something. I'll write Paint here. We've got Paint 3D, or just regular Paint. We're starting it, and let's try writing, or I'll write Dr. Sam's Health. Alright, skipped a couple of strokes. Let's try it again. Dr. Sam's Health. Subscribe and like. Yeah, it feels actually pretty good. The pen is much easier to use than the one that comes with regular Lenovo Yoga. Here's the regular Lenovo Yoga, here is the one that comes with this device. Again, it was not meant to be inside of this laptop, but it is here. You know, while making this video, I already had some experience with this laptop, so I can tell you right away that I'm ready to summarize. So the things that I like about this laptop: it's very light. You can feel it. It's super light. It's lighter than HP Elite Dragonfly. It has a nice aspect ratio. It has a nice screen, nice resolution, very thoughtful. The only problem is it's a little bit reflective. It has a nice pen that is of a right size for a guy like myself. You can attach it magnetically to the side. I do like the form factor, I do like the feel of it. It does have this cool, high-end premium feel to it. I like the fact that it's made out of titanium. The things that I don't like are, first, the reflections on the screen, and second is this noise. And ideally, like a real techie reviewer would have this device for a week. We would try it out and we'll see how it works. Let's assume it's just a fluke, and you know, it has been charging for a while. It has been activating lots of services, connecting to the Wi-Fi, so it warmed up and now it's trying to cool itself down. But given the form factor of this device, I'm pretty sure that I will face this problem quite often, especially if I leave it sitting on a desk like that. Just because of this fans working here, I will pretty much block them by putting this device on any flat surface. So I assume that this device will be actually difficult to work with, and I don't want to walk around with something that sounds like that. It has lots of neat features, but I don't think it's a device that I'm going to keep. Even if I hadn't had this ThinkPad from work, I don't think I would be able to work with a device with this kind of functionality. Maybe I'll make a little test of camera, I'll just record something, but while setting up the facial recognition I could tell that the camera quality is actually terrible, and I'm not even going to waste any more time testing it out. So we can also test the quality of audio, but it's just a standard audio. I don't expect much from this device. Actually, it's trying to recognize me, it's not recognizing me again. So it feels like this device is a bit of a disaster, though I like a number of aspects of it. So given that I also have another device, and even if I hadn't had this ThinkPad Yoga, I would likely have returned this. In my current situation, when I have received it, it makes this odd noise, and I've got another device, and I don't think I need two. Quite frankly, I will just return it to Lenovo and wish them well, hoping that they will be able to address the issues of this particular device. I don't think, by the way, one thing I would like to add is, again, I do not think that this is a fluke. I'm pretty sure that device is so small and so thin that they had to compromise something. This compromise is the fact that this device has to use fans extensively, and it's gonna make this noise all the time. Maybe it's just a damaged device. Again, I'm not a techie. I am just a guy who tries different things and trying to use them in my regular life. My time costs money, and I don't want to waste any more of my time on this device. So it didn't pass my personal test. I like a lot of things about this device, but unfortunately I don't think I'm gonna be willing to work with this anymore. I'm gonna send it back to Lenovo. Anyhow, I think it was a great try from Lenovo to try to make device that thin and that light. This part is done fantastically well, and I like the aspect ratio, and I like quite a few other things. Nevertheless, I'm going to send it back, and maybe in several months from now, when Apple will start making M1X laptops, MacBook Airs or MacBook Pros, I will aim for MacBook Pro 14 likely, but we'll see. I'll make a video on that. So let me wrap this video up. I'm sorry if it was a little bit hectic or a little bit like patchy and not perfectly sequenced. Again, I'm not a professional reviewer, I'm just a guy who is trying cool things and seeing if they work for a regular person like ourselves, not just for somebody who's a pro. Thank you once again for watching my video, for subscribing to my channel if you have already done so. If you haven't, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and please leave comments. Check out my website, Dr.Sam's Health. I will focus on health issues, weight loss, nutrition, healthy living, things like that, rather than technical stuff in the next several videos. So if you like that kind of videos or this kind of videos, please hit the like button, subscribe, follow me, ask questions, make comments, make suggestions. All kinds of interactions are more than welcome. And thanks again for watching. Have a wonderful day. Introjection / postscriptum. I decided that I was a little bit too harsh and too fast with coming up with the decision to completely discard this device, so I decided to give it another try. I used it for another 20 minutes, actually turned it off and turn it back on. Now it is not making as much noise, and it has not been making too much noise in the past 10-15 minutes. Though I tested the sound, I played some YouTube videos, they sound pretty well. I realized that it still makes some noise even after a very short period of work. The second thing I realized that the place where I hold it and where I assume all the heat generating components are located is getting quite hot. It does make a little bit of noise, and I realized, actually the device pretty much indicated to me that right now 48% of the battery life is remaining, which equates to 1 hour 44 minutes. So this device can only work for approximately 3.5 hours. It's way less than that they have declared in their technical specifications, and it's just ridiculously short time for a device that you're supposed to carry around with yourself anywhere you go. So once again, I have given this device another chance. I don't think I will be particularly interested in having it. So let me wrap this video up once and forever. Thank you once again. Check out drsamshealth.com, hit like and subscribe. All the very best.